After my fiancée said she needed a break and ran off to her ex, I broke off the engagement, sold everything and disappeared without a trace. Hey everyone, after what feels like forever, I figured it's time I finally talk about what's been going on in my life lately. I'm 28 now, by the way. So here's the deal. Up until recently, I truly believed I was about to marry the woman of my dreams, Jenna. She's 27. We'd been together for 5 solid years, and for the most part, I thought we had a pretty strong relationship. But now I find myself sitting here wondering how I didn't spot the signs sooner. Jenna and I first crossed paths at a friend's birthday party, one of those random introductions that just clicked. She had this dry sense of humor, a confident vibe, and didn't take crap from anyone. I like that. I'd dated before, sure, but no one ever really connected with me the way she did. Things moved fast between us, and about a year in, we moved in together. It all felt easy, like we were totally in sync about careers, getting married, and starting a family someday. She worked as a freelance graphic designer, and I was a project manager at a tech company. Our schedules lined up pretty well. Life wasn't flashy, but it was good. We'd been talking about marriage on and off, but I didn't pop the question until last year. The proposal wasn't some big show, just a cozy dinner at home, just the two of us. Jenna looked over the moon. She cried, hugged me tight, and said yes. That night, we started painting a picture of our future together, a wedding in the fall, just close family and friends, and this peaceful little spot by the lake. It all felt like it was finally coming together. Or so I thought. Looking back, the warning signs were subtle but definitely there. Little things I brushed off because I didn't want to make a big deal out of them. For instance, after being super excited at first, Jenna suddenly lost all interest in planning the wedding. She used to send me Pinterest boards, browse wedding dress ideas, and ask about tiny details like whether we should go with tulips or roses on the tables. Then, out of nowhere, she just stopped. I'd ask stuff like, "Hey, did you pick your bridesmaids yet?" And she'd kind of wave it off. "Not yet." "Still thinking about it," she'd tell me again. Same with picking a dress, the cake, the music, everything she once cared about just got put on the back burner. "There's still time," she'd say. Like the wedding didn't really matter anymore. At the time, I chalked it up to stress. I mean, wedding planning can be overwhelming. And Jenna had a lot on her plate with work, so I figured it was just temporary. She'd come around, right? What I didn't realize then was that her distance wasn't about the wedding itself, it was about us. The real gut punch came during a night out with friends. Someone brought up that dumb TikTok game, you know, the one where people answer personal questions with a straight face, no judgment allowed. Everything was fine until someone asked, if you could relive any past relationship, which one would it be? And without skipping a beat, Jenna goes, "Oh, probably Ethan." Just like that. Ethan. Her ex from college. The same guy who cheated on her. As soon as she said it, the room went dead silent. She gave a nervous laugh and tried to backpedal. I mean, not that I want to. It's just, he was a big part of my past. I wanted to say something right then and there, but we were around friends, so I let it slide. Later that night, when we were alone, I brought it up. "What's the deal with Ethan? Why would you want to revisit that relationship?" She brushed it off like it was no big deal. "Come on, Carter, it was just a dumb game. Don't take it so seriously," she said with a grin, then changed the subject. I didn't push it further because, honestly, I didn't want to pick a fight over something that might have just been nothing. But still, that comment lingered in the back of my mind. After that, I couldn't help but notice how her behavior started to shift. She was glued to her phone more than usual, smiling at her texts like she was in on some private joke. She began canceling plans last minute or making up vague excuses for why she couldn't hang out. "Sorry, I've got a ton of work to finish tonight," she'd say. Or, "I promised my mom I'd visit this weekend." Nothing sounded too suspicious on its own, but all those little things were piling up. It started to feel like I was slipping down her list of priorities. Then came one Saturday night that changed everything. I got home from work a bit early, excited to spend the evening with Jenna. I was hoping for a quiet night, order some takeout, maybe binge a show together. But the second I walked in, something felt off. She was sitting on the couch, laptop in her lap, but she wasn't actually doing anything. She just sat there, staring blankly at the screen like her mind was miles away. "Hey, I'm home," I said gently, trying to break the weird tension. "You're early," she replied, like it was a problem instead of a good thing. I brushed it off and headed to the kitchen to start dinner, but the silence in the house felt heavy, way too heavy. Normally, she'd ask about my day or start rambling about hers. But tonight? Nothing. Just quiet. Eventually, I turned to her and asked, "Is everything okay?" She closed her laptop slowly, looked up, and said, "Actually, there's something I need to talk to you about." And right then, my stomach just dropped. You know that feeling when you know something awful is about to happen and there's nothing you can do to stop it? That was me standing there like an idiot holding a spatula. I walked over and sat across from her. All right, I said. What's going on? She hesitated like she was searching for the right way to say it. But then she just came out with it. I've been thinking about us. And about Ethan. I nearly laughed in disbelief. Ethan? Are you serious? What about him? She bit her lip and wouldn't look at me. I think I need some time, she said. I want to take a break, see if there's still something there with him. I couldn't even process what I was hearing. You want a break so you can date your ex? I asked. Are you out of your damn mind, Jenna? We're engaged. It's not like that, she said quickly, trying to make it sound less insane than it was. I need to be sure I'm making the right choice with you. And if it doesn't work out, she added, I promise I'll come back. That's when I realized just how entitled she really was. She honestly thought I'd just sit around waiting for her to go figure out if I was good enough. Something shifted in me at that moment. I didn't explode or yell, I just stared at her, stunned that I hadn't seen any of this coming. I didn't know what to even say at first. I mean, what do you say when your fiancée tells you she wants to put you on pause so she can revisit things with the guy who cheated on her? Eventually, I found the words. So, what does this break mean to you exactly? I asked, trying to keep my voice steady even though I was anything but calm inside. She straightened up like she'd rehearsed this whole thing. I think we need some space to figure things out, she said. I'll take time to see if my feelings for Ethan are real and you can use this time to reflect on us too. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Wait a second, I said, leaning in. So you get to go date your ex and I'm supposed to sit here thinking about us? How the hell does that make any sense? She sighed like I was the one being unreasonable. This isn't about you doing anything wrong, Carter. This is about me figuring out what I need. It felt so rehearsed, the way she avoided my eyes, the calm way she spoke, it was like she'd already made up her mind and just expected me to nod and accept it. You realize how messed up this sounds, right? I said, barely above a whisper. You don't put your fiancé on standby so you can go play what if with some guy who treated you like crap. Her face hardened and for the first time I saw just how stubborn she could be. I'm not asking for your permission, Carter, she said. I'm telling you what I need. That hit me differently. I wasn't just hurt anymore, I was angry. I stood up and started pacing, trying to burn off the heat building inside me. So what then, Jenna? I snapped. You're just gonna pack a bag and head over to Ethan's place? That your plan? No, she said quickly. It's not like that. I don't even know what this looks like yet. I need clarity before we go any further. I need to be sure. You need clarity? I laughed, bitter and cold. And what about what you owe me? We're engaged, Jenna. We were planning a life together. And now you're telling me you've got to test drive your ex to make sure I'm the right choice. I never said you weren't good enough, she shot back, voice rising. But if we're going to spend forever together, I have to be sure. And that was it. That was the truth. She didn't just want to explore things with Ethan, she wasn't even sure she still wanted me. Even after spending 5 years together and making all kinds of plans, she still couldn't make up her mind. That realization hit me like a freight train. She had no clue how hurtful and honestly how ridiculous her request sounded. In her mind, it was totally reasonable. Like I'd just hang around while she sorted through whatever nonsense was going on in her head. I stopped pacing, turned to look at her, really looked, and thought, you know what? Fine. My voice was flat when I said it. Take your break. She blinked, clearly caught off guard by how fast I agreed. Carter, I'm not trying to hurt you, she said softly. I need space. I need time to figure things out. I gave her a small nod and kept my expression unreadable. All right, if that's what you think you need. She hesitated like she expected me to protest or beg her to stay. But when I didn't say a word, she stood up, pulled out her laptop, and mumbled, I'll stay at my mom's for a while. This isn't permanent. We'll talk after I've had some time. Okay, I said, plain and simple. She gave me a strange look like she wasn't sure what to say next, and then she slipped into the bedroom. I could hear her tossing things into a bag. I stayed sitting on the couch, calm on the outside, but inside? My mind was already running a mile a minute. If she really wants space, fine. Let her have it. A few minutes later, I heard the front door click shut. She was gone, probably thinking she'd left me behind to sit around and stew in my own thoughts. What she didn't realize was I wasn't just gonna sit back and do nothing. She could live in her little fantasy world. I had a different plan now. I'll post an update once I've got things rolling. This isn't gonna end the way she thinks it will. Update 1. Thanks for all the comments and suggestions on my last post. A lot has gone down this week and I wanted to share how things are shaping up. First off, I've got to say thank you to everyone in this community for the support. So many of you said I shouldn't sit around waiting, and you were right. I've been busy getting everything in motion. First thing I did? Called my buddy Jake. He's been my best friend since college and doesn't sugarcoat anything. Once he heard the whole story, he showed up with a pizza and we spent the whole night planning. Dude, he said, you realize she's gonna come crawling back when things with Ethan blow up, right? And yeah, he had a point. The more we talked, the clearer it got. I needed to take action. This wasn't about revenge. It was about taking back control over my own life. I started with the house. Funny how Jenna always talks like it's our place, but she forgets it's entirely in my name. She loves to brag about the curtains she picked or the paint colors she chose, but I'm the one covering the mortgage. So first thing Tuesday morning, I called up a realtor. The realtor came by, checked out the place, and we decided to list it immediately. The market's hot in our area, and we've already got a few serious buyers. Jenna has no clue. She probably thinks I'm just lounging around in our shared home, waiting for her to figure herself out. Next move? Start phasing her out of my life. Remember those cheesy live, laugh, love signs she insisted on putting everywhere? Gone. Those fancy throw pillows she just had to have? Donated. The clothes and random stuff she left behind? I boxed all of it up neatly. But I didn't stop there, I got strategic. Instead of driving her things over to her mom's or making her swing by to pick them up, I hired a moving company. They packed up everything and dropped it off at her mom's house with a short little note. Here's your stuff. Good luck with Ethan. Now, I know some folks might say that's petty, but I don't see it that way. I'm not trying to get revenge here. I'm just being efficient. She asked for space to think? Well, she's got all the space she needs now. The real twist came when our mutual friends started asking questions. Instead of bad-mouthing her or playing the victim, I just told the truth. Jenna decided she needed to see if things could work with her ex before settling down. And me? I figured I deserved better than being someone's backup option. You should have seen people's reactions, no drama, no blame, just facts. It's wild how fast the narrative flips when you don't try to manipulate it. Oh, and I've been making moves at work too. I finally went ahead and applied for a position at our West Coast office, something I'd been thinking about doing for a long time. If the house sells, which looks pretty likely at this point, and I land the job, I'll be starting fresh on the opposite side of the country. Meanwhile, Jenna's been reaching out a lot this week. It started off with cheerful little texts like, hope you're doing all right, but as she realized I was actually moving forward instead of just sitting around, her messages got a lot more anxious. Yesterday, she totally panicked when her mom told her the boxes had been dropped off. She texted me in a frenzy, what are you doing? Why are you acting like it's over? I kept it short and to the point. Because it is over, Jenna. You made your decision. Now I'm making mine. She broke down crying, telling me she just needed time to think and that I was rushing things. That this wasn't what she meant when she asked for a break. So I asked her straight up, what exactly did you expect? That I'd just sit around like some loyal dog while you went off to test drive your ex? That's not how this works. She sobbed, but what if I realize you're the one I want? I told her, then maybe you'll learn not to take people for granted. And with that, I ended the call. Strangely enough, I didn't feel angry anymore. If anything, I felt free. Every box I pack, every step I take, it's like I'm reclaiming pieces of myself I didn't even know I'd lost. Jake came by again yesterday to help me with the packing. Even he noticed the shift. You seem different, he said. More focused. Yeah, he nailed it. I am different now. When Jenna first dropped the bomb about wanting to explore things with Ethan, it felt like my entire world was falling apart. But now I realize it wasn't my world breaking down. It was the illusion I'd been living in finally cracking wide open. I've got more plans in motion, but I'll save those for the next update. For now, I'll just say this. Sometimes, the best response to being treated like an option is to remove yourself completely from someone's list. Stick around, this story's far from over. And something tells me Jenna's break to figure things out isn't going the way she expected. Update 2. Really appreciate all the comments and feedback on my last update. Things have escalated pretty quickly and I wanted to fill you in on what's been happening since then. Remember how I said I applied for that job on the West Coast? Well, I got it. And the timing couldn't be better. The house is officially under contract and the closing date is set for next month. But that's just the start. Here's where things get interesting. Jenna's little rekindled thing with Ethan? Yeah, that isn't playing out like she imagined. Through some shared friends, I found out that their so-called spark is nothing like the fairy tale she pictured. Turns out 5 years didn't change much. He's still the same unfaithful guy who cheated on her back in college. But here's where it gets really good. Jenna started trying to manage the story on social media, posting vague inspirational quotes about self-discovery and listening to your heart. So I figured, okay, two can play that game, except I keep mine grounded in reality. I made one post. Simple, honest, and to the point. Life update, just accepted a new role in Los Angeles. When one door closes, sometimes a better one opens. Excited for this next chapter. That one post lit up fast. Messages started pouring in, people congratulating me, asking about the move, and, of course, bringing up Jenna. I kept my replies straightforward, we're not together anymore. She wanted to explore her options. So now I'm exploring mine. And just like that, everything shifted in our friend group. All those folks who were on the fence? Watching me stay cool while she posted cryptic emotional content totally changed the vibe. And then the fallout started hitting her professionally. Jenna gets most of her freelance design work through referrals and networking. One of our mutual contacts, Lily, 30F, who works in tech and used to send a lot of business her way, reached out to me. We met for coffee and she came right out with it. I need to know what's really going on. Jenna's telling people you two are just taking some time apart to grow individually, but something about it doesn't feel right. So I showed her the message Jenna left, the one where she said she needed to see things through with Ethan. The look Lily gave me said everything. She didn't believe it at first. But by the end of the week, a bunch of potential clients started backing off from their projects with her. Not because I said anything nasty, because I didn't, but let's be real, who wants to hire someone who treats commitments like they're optional? Jenna could feel the shift. Her messages started coming in faster, more frantic. Why are you telling people about Ethan? You're ruining my reputation. This isn't fair. I just needed time to think. I finally responded to one of them with, you got what you asked for, time and space. How I use mine. That's not your business anymore. Then everything flipped. Ethan, in all his brilliance, posted a picture of the two of them at the same restaurant where Jenna and I had our first date. It was pretty obvious she was trying to recreate our past, but with him. It was sad. And honestly, kind of hilarious. The post didn't stay up long, but it didn't need to. The damage was done. Our friends saw it, and even the few who were still defending her whole finding myself journey started backing away. Even her sister reached out to me. I'm really sorry for the way she's handling all this, she said. You deserve better. And the most satisfying part of it all? I didn't have to do anything vindictive. I just kept living my life openly and honestly while Jenna tried to play both sides. The truth has a way of getting out. Yesterday, she showed up at my office. Apparently, Ethan's already showing his true self of flirting with other women, being shady. The same stuff he pulled back in college. She was in tears. I made a huge mistake, she cried. I got scared. I thought I needed to see if something better was out there, but I was wrong. You're the best thing that ever happened to me. I looked at her calmly and said, no, Jenna. The best thing that ever happened to me was you showing your true colors before we got married. She tried to plead with me. Said we could fix things, that she'd go to therapy, that she'd earn back my trust. I just shook my head. You still don't get it, do you? This was never just about Ethan. It's about you thinking you could put me on a shelf while you went out and explored your other options. That's not love. That's convenience. She left my office crushed, but I felt lighter than I had in a long time. The house closes next week. Most of my stuff is already packed, and in a month I'll be starting over in Los Angeles. It's funny, some people say I'm being too harsh. Everybody makes mistakes, they tell me. But this wasn't some slip-up. It was a series of deliberate choices. Every text she sent Ethan. Every time she lied about where she was. Every step she took to put our relationship on pause, all of that was her choosing another path. I'll share one more update once the move is finalized. But for now, I'll leave you with this. Sometimes, the best revenge isn't getting even. It's getting better. And that's exactly what I'm doing. Update 3. Thanks to everyone who's been following this journey. This will be my final update, and I've got some news to share. Los Angeles has been everything I hoped it would be. My new place has an incredible view of the Bay, and the tech scene here? It's amazing. My new team at work is fantastic. It's refreshing to be surrounded by people who care more about growth and innovation than petty drama. But before I get into my new life, let me close the chapter back home. The house sale went off without a hitch. In fact, it sold for above asking, which was a nice bonus. Jenna found out through mutual friends and didn't believe it at first. Not until she drove by and saw a new family moving in. Then things took another unexpected turn. Guess who reached out? Ethan. Yeah, I didn't see that coming either. He sent me this long message saying he never meant to cause any issues and that Jenna had actually reached out to him months before she ever brought up the whole break thing. Turns out her little soul-searching journey had been in the works for a while. She'd been messaging him for months, carefully planning out her backup strategy. So, what's with the irony, right? Ethan actually broke things off with her around 7:05 p.m., saying if she could do this to you, she could just as easily do it to anyone. Jenna's career took a serious hit after that. Remember how she had all those clients lined up? Most of them ended up finding other designers, not because I said a word, but because this industry talks. One of her biggest clients even reached out to me directly. We heard about the engagement situation, they said. We're looking for someone who can handle long-term work. Then they asked if I knew any dependable designers. I recommended someone I knew who's talented, and she ended up landing the contract. Talk about karma. And Jenna's meltdown on social media? Yeah, it's been wild to watch. First came all the sad, sappy quotes about losing your soulmate. Then suddenly she switched to angry rants about so-called toxic people who can't handle someone else's growth. After that, it turned into desperate attempts to convince everyone she was thriving. The last one really stood out. She posted about launching her own design firm. For days later, she started applying for jobs. And just last week, her sister reached out to me again. Apparently, Jenna's been staying with their parents, telling everyone she needs time to recover from our breakup. Her sister's words stuck with me. She really thought you'd wait for her. Selling the house and moving out crushed that fantasy completely. The most satisfying moment came during a video chat with our old group of friends. They were catching me up on local gossip, and someone mentioned spotting Jenna at a coffee shop. She was trying to explain to a potential client why her portfolio site was offline, completely forgetting that I was the one who built and managed it in the first place. When her hosting expired, she didn't know how to get it back online. Not my issue anymore. Life here is coming together better than I expected. I joined a local rock climbing group, started taking Spanish classes, and even adopted a rescue dog. His name's Buddy, and honestly, he's a better companion than my ex-fiancée ever was. The tech scene here has been incredibly welcoming too. Just last week, I got invited to speak at a developer conference. Something that never would have happened if I'd stayed where I was. It's crazy what you can accomplish when you're not weighed down by someone else's baggage. I did have one last exchange with Jenna. She emailed asking for some old photos from our shared cloud storage. But I'd already backed up what I wanted and shut the account down weeks ago. Her message said, "I know you're trying to erase me, but you can't just delete our memories." She said those 5 years meant something. I kept my response short. You're right. They taught me exactly what I don't want in a partner. So thanks for the lesson. Some people we both know think I'm being too cold, that I should cut her some slack, that maybe it was just a moment of confusion. But let's be real. That wasn't a slip-up. It was a calculated choice. She kept me in her back pocket while chasing what she thought was a better deal. What did I learn through all this? Sometimes the worst moments end up leading to the best outcomes. If Jenna hadn't shown her true self, I might have married her, only to discover years down the line, maybe with kids involved, who she really was. Instead, I'm living in a great city, working an awesome job, meeting new people, and actually feeling good about what's next. That feeling of betrayal has been replaced with pure gratitude for dodging a bullet I didn't even see coming. Big thanks to everyone who followed this story and shared your support. Your words helped me stay grounded when things felt shaky. And to anyone else going through something like this, listen closely. When someone reveals who they really are, believe them the first time. Don't wait around hoping they'll change or see your worth. Life's too short to be anyone's plan B. Sometimes the smartest thing you can do is walk away and build something better for yourself. That's all for now, folks. This chapter's officially closed, and I couldn't be more excited to start the next one. Take care of yourselves, and seriously, thank you for being here. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that button and turn on notifications. There are plenty more unbelievable real-life stories coming your way.